Welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving into one of the most interesting coins from Australia, the 1981 50-cent coin without a mint mark featuring Queen Elizabeth II. Now most people think these coins are only worth 50 cents, but certain 1981 no mint mark coins, especially those in uncirculated condition, can be worth big money to collectors, depending on where and how they were minted. In this video, I'll explain why the 1981 50-cent coin is so special, how to identify the rare varieties, and what collectors are paying for them today. Let's get started. Now let's talk about what collectors are really curious about: the value. In ordinary circulated condition, a 1981 50-cent coin without a mint mark is worth face value just 50 cents, but in uncirculated condition, especially if confirmed as an overseas strike or a die variant, the value can range between AUD $10 and $50, and in top graded mint state MS65 or higher they can reach 75 Australian dollars, $150 among specialized collectors. Proof like examples or confirmed Royal Mint London strikes have sold for even more, especially when part of certified sets. The value continues to grow because most of these coins were heavily circulated, and finding pristine examples today is increasingly rare for collectors in Australia and abroad. The 1981 no mint mark 50-cent coin is becoming an accessible yet meaningful piece of minting history. This brings us to the broader perspective: the concept. Across global coinage history, around 40 major mints have operated at one time or another, creating coins for their home countries and sometimes even for others. The Royal Australian Mint in Canberra, though relatively young compared to its British counterpart, has collaborated with several of these mints, including those in London, Ottawa, Pretoria, and Singapore, to help with production during high-demand years. The 1981 50-cent coin serves as a perfect example of this international minting cooperation. It highlights how global mints, even separated by oceans, shared technology, craftsmanship, and design standards. Each mint from Denver in the US to the Royal Mint in London plays a part in the world's larger numismatic tapestry. When you hold one of these coins, you're holding a piece of that global connection. Over the last 2 decades, interest in Australian coins has grown rapidly among international collectors. The combination of historical designs, Queen Elizabeth II portraits, and unique minting variations makes them highly appealing. The 1981 no mint mark 50-cent coin, though not ultra-rare, sits in that sweet spot: accessible yet historically significant, with Queen Elizabeth II's long reign having ended in 2022. Coins bearing her image have taken on even greater sentimental and collector value. As numismatic interest increases, so do the prices for coins in pristine, uncirculated condition. Experts recommend securing certified examples now before prices climb further. Even casual collectors in the United States and the UK are starting to include Australian issues in their modern world coin portfolios, proving how interconnected the coin collecting community has become. If you're lucky enough to have found a 1981 50-cent coin that looks brand new, the next step is preservation. Always handle coins by the edges and avoid touching the surfaces. Even skin oils can dull the mint luster. Store it in a protective capsule or airtight holder away from heat and moisture. Never clean it, as this will permanently reduce its collector value. For authenticity and grading, consider sending your coin to recognized numismatic services like PCGS, NGC, or the Australian Numismatic Dealers Association. A graded uncirculated coin will not only be protected but also have its market value officially recognized, which can make a huge difference if you ever decide to sell or insure it. Documentation and certification are what separate casual finds from truly valuable collectibles. And that wraps up today's deep dive into the 1981 Australian 50-cent coin without a mint mark, a coin that tells a fascinating story about minting, collaboration design consistency, and the tiny details that can make all the difference. We explored its background, how to identify genuine examples, what their worth in uncirculated condition, and how they connect to the broader legacy of global coin production. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a future episode. Share this video with your fellow collectors and let me know in the comments. Do you have a 1981 50-cent coin in your collection? Have you checked if yours has a mint mark? Every coin has a story, and sometimes even a small piece of metal can hold a world of history. Thanks for watching. The 50-cent coin has been a staple of Australian currency since it replaced the round silver 50-cent piece back in 1969. That earlier version, issued in 1966, was composed of 80% silver, which made its metal content more valuable than its face value. Once silver prices rose, so in 1969, the Royal Australian Mint introduced the 12-sided Cupro nickel 50-cent coin we know today. The design, by Stuart Devlin, features the Australian coat of arms on the reverse and Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse. By 1981, Australia was firmly using this shape and composition, but that year's coins hold a unique place in minting history because they weren't all produced domestically. Here's where the story gets interesting. In 1981, Australia's Royal Mint couldn't keep up with the country's coin production demand on its own, so it outsourced the striking of 50-cent coins to two overseas mints, the Royal Mint in London and the Royal Canadian Mint in Ottawa. These foreign-produced coins were meant to be identical to the ones struck in Canberra, but small differences crept in. Coins struck at the Canberra Mint typically carry no mint mark, while those struck in London or Ottawa sometimes have subtle distinguishing features, including slight variations in metal, tone, edge, finish, and die characteristics. For collectors, the 1981 no mint mark 50-cent coin can represent both the Australian-made version and, more rarely, transitional or hybrid pieces from overseas production that lacked identifying marks entirely. So what exactly is a mint mark, and why does its absence matter? A mint mark is a small symbol or letter placed on a coin to show where it was struck. It's like a signature from the minting facility. In 1981, the Royal Australian Mint didn't place mint marks on its circulating coins, but when foreign mints helped with production, their coins were expected to include discrete identifiers. Some, however, slipped through without any mint mark at all, either due to die, confusion, rushed production, or intentional omission to maintain uniformity. These no mint mark 1981 50-cent coins are fascinating to collectors because they blur the line between standard Australian issues and special minting contracts from abroad. Now, if you want to check whether your coin is one of these no mint mark 1981s, here's what to look for. Start by examining the reverse side. You should see the Australian coat of arms with the kangaroo and emu flanking the shield. There should be no mint mark anywhere near the design or rim. Then flip it to the obverse side and check the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II sculpted by Arnold Machen. Subtle die variations can hint at where your coin originated. For example, some Ottawa strikes show a slightly rounded rim and smoother surface luster, while London strikes can appear a bit sharper in relief. Genuine uncirculated examples will display strong details and consistent satin-like luster free from circulation, where if your coin has those features, you may be looking at a premium quality coal.